Hey everyone, James Niggemeyer here. Thank you for tuning back into my YouTube channel. Today I'm doing the first video while sitting in my brand new Ranger Z520L. And if you saw the video that I believe I uploaded last Saturday, it was my whole kind of journey up to Springfield, Missouri to pick up this boat and bring it back. I kind of showed a little bit about the boat, the color schemes and different things like that, but I have every intention of doing kind of the rigging and how I'm gonna lay out the boat, from electronics to got a new trolling motor that's coming and going to be mounting that on the front of the boat. But I'll also go under the compartment lids and get into how I store all my tackle and then rods and reels, line, and other things throughout the boat. So stay tuned for that. Those videos are coming your way. But today I'm going to do kind of an unboxing, a little bit of an overview, kind of product review, as much as I can while sitting in the boat. This particular product is something that fellow MLF pro and LEW's team member, Andy Montgomery, kind of brainstormed together with LEW's. This is a product I'm pretty excited about because Andy is probably one of the finest casters on tour. When it comes to skipping and pitching and placing his lure right where he wants it to, he is as good as they get. So when LEW's came out with this brand new reel, it's the Team LEW's Pro SP. SP standing for skipping and pitching. It's a super low profile reel and it's really designed for close quarters, skipping, pitching, and those types of things. And it's designed to help you make those casts and minimize some of the problems inherent in, say, line puffing up, backlashes, etc. So super excited about this reel. For years I've used, this is kind of my skipping rod. I've been using this Team LEW's Custom Pro and I really like it. And it holds quite a bit of line. And sometimes what I'll do is not quite fill it up, because when you have a lot of line on a spool, it tends to puff up when you're making skip casts. It actually makes it more difficult to make those types of casts. So this new reel is ideal for that type of thing. So here's kind of unboxing the reel. It's got a little improving your casting performance and maintenance guide. And then there's the reel right there. Really good looking reel, low profile. It's got 8+1 ball bearings. It holds 40 yards of 20-pound test, fluorocarbon or mono, something with that type of a diameter. 20 pounds max drag and an 8:3-to-1 gear ratio. Some of the things that make this reel different than any other is the fact it has a super shallow spool right there. That really helps you to minimize the amount of line on there. And when you minimize the amount of line on there, you just don't get as many backlashes. You just don't get that puffing up. Early on when I started using bait casters, someone suggested pulling out an amount of line that would make a decent average cast, then putting a piece of electrical tape across the spool and then reeling it back up. And what that does is it eliminates some of that line coming up from underneath and creating backlashes and the line puffing up. So what you've done with this reel is basically, by having a shallower reel, you can minimize the backlashes and different things like that. It only weighs 6 ounces. So when you're doing a lot of rod work, casting, pitching, skipping, this is a nice super light reel that's going to help minimize the fatigue that you have throughout the whole day. What I'm going to do is go ahead and spool this up and kind of rig it up the way I would prefer this rod to be set up for skipping and pitching, kind of let you see how that all works out. Recently I did a couple of videos on skipping underneath docks, and this was the exact rod that I used. This is a Team LEW's Custom Speed Stick Light. When you're doing a lot of rod manipulation, skipping, pitching, different things like that, it's nice to have something that's really light and super sensitive in your hand. So this is a rod that I kind of settled into and really like it. So there's no reason to change my rod. The only reason to change the reel is to kind of up my game, to make things easier on the water. And every time that I'm going through the mechanics of skipping and pitching around targets and whatnot. One of the super cool features of this reel, outside of the fact that it has this very shallow spool, is there's this center groove here, along with a place in which to thread your line so you can tie your knot on that little groove section. There's a little hole in there, you can tie your knot in there. But the groove section enables it so that your knot is recessed just a little bit more, and so you don't have that heaved up. That bump won't be there, and it won't feel awkward in any way. 8 3-to-1 gear ratio reel, so I like that. So I can get my bait in quick and out quick. I can make a lot more presentations if I'm not spending a lot of time winding that bait back to the boat, especially on a shallower spool like this. First thing that I'm gonna say is it feels great in my hand. I mean, I can just palm it and just hold it. I can cover it up, and I can just really have a good grip on the reel. That's very nice. And obviously I'm 6'2", so my hands are gonna be a little bit bigger, and that helps. But I think this is something that even if you know, an average size person's hands or even smaller is gonna really feel that this reel is easy to palm, easy to grip, and enables you to kind of control your whole rod, especially when you're doing a lot of rod manipulations like this, skipping, pitching, different things like that. I'm gonna go ahead and spool it up, go through that whole process, and then tie on a jig and just kind of, you know, do what I can here in the boat. I think later on I'll probably try to do some sort of follow-up to this when I'm out on the water, but for today, just wanted to do a quick unboxing and overview, kind of review of this brand new reel for 2021 for LEWs. So hopefully you can see that there's that little recessed area, what they call a knot slot, so that you have nice even line lay from one side to the other, and you don't have that bump that heaves up the line in the middle. And then you can actually run your line through there, and it actually enables you to tie a knot to the spool itself. So super cool innovation there. And so that's what it looks like when you tie your knot and lay it in that little knot slot recessed area. You kind of have to guide it with your finger, especially if the line guide is off to one side or the other. Once it gets started though, you're good to go. I'm actually just spooling the line off my older reel there, especially since it just doesn't require a lot of line, and it's just easy for me to do this right quick. This is really an ingenious way to go, because look how nice and smooth that is across there. I probably overfilled it a little bit. I'll probably strip off a couple yards there, but that looks great. Nice and even line lay across there, just like it was supposed to. So that's working just like a charm. I'm gonna go ahead and tie on a jig and just kind of do what I can while sitting in the boat here and kind of get a feel for this reel. Okay, so I went ahead and tied on my jig, and this jig's been pretty hammered. It's from the last time I did that skipping under Doc's video, and if you'd like to see that, I'll go ahead and link those videos in the description. That way you can check that out. If you don't skip docks, or if you don't skip baits up underneath overhangs and different hard to reach areas, I feel like you guys are missing a lot of fish that you could potentially catch. Just with a little bit of practice, skipping and pitching, you can put your bait into some places that I think there's a lot of fish that just really go unbothered. And it's one of my favorite ways to catch them. Of course, I think if you follow my channel, I love all kinds of close quarters combat type stuff. And this, what this reel is gonna be all about. This is not gonna be the type of reel that you're gonna wanna take for, say, throwing a big Strike King 3/4 ounce football jig out on the ledges, or a big Texas rig worm, or deep cranking. It only holds 40 yards, a 20-pound test. 40 yards is not a really long distance, so it's plenty of line for you to make the kind of close quarters combat casts and the kind of skipping and pitching and different things like that when you're in that shallow water, target-rich environment. That's what this reel is all about. And honestly, I thought I would just get this for my skipping jig rod, my skipping soft plastics and different things like that. But I'm starting to think this is gonna be an excellent reel for when it's the spring of the year and there's a lot of fish up spawning, whether you can visually see them or not. This is gonna be a great target reel for just being able to place a bait here and there. Sometimes you're using lighter weight baits or no weight baits like your Senko style baits, your Ochos and your shimmy sticks and stuff like that. So this could be the reel that really gets a lot of play when it comes to springtime, you know, target casting and fishing in and around areas you think there's fish on beds. So I'm kind of excited because that's something I a lot of times we put things into mental boxes, and I kind of did that with this reel, just thinking this would be my skipping jigs, my skipping soft plastics reel, but I think this could really be a great reel for a lot of different things. Again, the rod that I use is a 7-foot Team LEW's Custom Light. It's a medium heavy actions, and I think a lot of times guys are like, you think that 7-footer with a medium heavy is enough to kind of pull those fish out from underneath those maybe heavier coverage places like under docks and brush piles and different things like that? And I really haven't had any problem with it. This is actually 16-pound test gamma fluorocarbon, and sometimes I'll go up to 20-pound test gamma fluorocarbon, but I just took the line off my older reel, spooled it on super quick, didn't require a lot of line obviously, and it just looks great. Or taking the bait and kind of just, you know, pitching it around right here, sitting in the boat, feels great. The reel is just super smooth. It has that little lure keeper, which to me is something that I really just have really grown fond of and feel like I should have this on every reel. But you know, it just kind of flips up into place, and when you need it to kind of hang your lure on there, it's boom, right there, ready to go. And then you can just kind of wrap it around your rod, put your rod sleeve on, and it's ready to go. But very nice reel, very light, feels great. You're turning the handle. I could just see this reel is just going to be, I mean, a go-to for me. I think sometimes we see that it says skipping and pitching, and you kind of put it into a specific box, but this is going to be a great reel all around for anytime shallow water target fishing. So that's the review, kind of overview of a brand new reel, the Team Lew's Pro SP Skipping Pitching. Got a lot of incredible features you haven't seen on any other reels. Something that is super applicable for the type of fishing you're going to do with this reel that it's designed for. So really like this reel, can't wait to get out on the water and use it. But first I got to rig out my boat before I can get out there and do a bunch of fishing. So just a quick video on the Lew's reel. I hope you like this video, and if you do, give me a thumbs up. Obviously, if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and until next time, good fishing.